Hello there, my beautiful pumpkins, and welcome back to the pumpkin patch. If you are new here, hello. I believe that we have one of the most, if not the most, autumnal, cozy, vibey corners of the internet. So if you like the way that I read, you like my style, you like what we do here, be sure to hit that subscribe button and become a member of the pumpkin patch and receive new content from me every single week in your inbox. It's free and it supports me as a creator. So today we're going to be getting into some May predictions. And before we do that, I do want to let those of you know that are unfamiliar, I do have a Patreon where you get early access to this kind of content. You also receive weekly energy readings with tarot, sometimes astrology we'll talk about, and you also get readings that you can't get anywhere else. And I have also started selling private readings on my website, KhloeTaylor.com. Please note that is the only place you can ever receive a reading with me at this point in time. I will never solicit you for a reading. There's been some nonsense going on Instagram where there are people pretending to be me. It's happening to a lot of spiritual accounts right now, but I will never solicit you for a private reading. You can only book on my website when they are in stock. So if you would like to book a private session with me, I do birth charts as well as year ahead readings and general guidance, all kinds of stuff. So definitely check that out at the link down below as well as the Patreon. But let's talk more about what we're looking at. So first and foremost, I want to talk about Taurus season because that's really what this video is about. Remember last month we did some Aries season, which I would encourage you to check that out if you did not watch it and just kind of compare how your month actually went. So we did Aries season or April predictions last month. This coming month, we're getting into Taurus season because we have Taurus season starting on April 20th and it will go until around May 20th, somewhere in there. It's usually between May 19th to May 22nd. Then we'll move into Gemini season and we'll have another prediction at that time. But the first thing I want y'all to know is before we even look at the general scope of what is going on this season, I want y'all to please make sure that you have looked for your rising sign. If you can get access to that from your birth chart, call your mom, do what you got to do. Look at your birth certificate, get your birth time if you have access to it so that you can figure out your rising sign, because that is how horoscopes are written. I will say this in every single prediction. That is how horoscopes are written. Every single astrologer on the face of this planet writes horoscopes for your rising sign. That's why the sun sign, it still matters, that energy will still affect you, but you are going to get the most accurate reading by looking at your rising sign because that's literally how the transits work. It's hard to explain if you are not into astrology and don't know how to look at the wheel, but your rising sign builds your entire chart. So please look for your rising. Your sun and moon will still apply, but the most accurate place is going to be looking at your rising sign prediction. So this month, just as a general overhead, Taurus. What the heck is Taurus about? Taurus is all about sensuality. I am a Taurus sun myself, so I feel like I bring that energy to the table. Yes, it is going to be my birthday. Yes, I will stop you to tell you about it, which is surprising. I think that's on being a fire sign rising, to be honest. I'm going to be 31 on May 14th. But yeah, it's your girl's season. The sun is going to be transiting me. But basically, during this season, it is a good time to not only get in touch with all of your senses, so touch, taste, smell, all of it. Get in touch with your senses, really enjoy the pleasure of life. But also, this deals with personal financial matters. So Taurus is the ruler of the second house, which the second house is personal finance. This also deals with your work ethic and to some extent your daily habits and routines. So this is basically looking down the scope of your life in that way. So checking your bank accounts, looking through your financial spending habits, deciding on creating new habits around those things. And also maybe this is a time period where you are shifting things in your work life. Now, obviously, as we get into the individual rising signs, we're going to get a lot more specific. But just as a general overview, Taurus season to me is usually a very like light season. It is usually a lot of fun. We're diving into our senses, into what makes us feel luxurious. Taurus definitely brings big luxury energy. What makes us feel luxurious? What makes us feel pleasure at this time period? And I feel like, especially because we also have, I'm not sure on the exact dates that it moves out for a little while, and I will make sure that I get them for you and put them in here. But we also have Neptune and Jupiter transiting the sign of Pisces. And while that is happening, basically our dreams, not like our sleep, well, your sleeping dreams, I would say, could be affected as well, but your dreams as in like what you want to be, do, have, those kinds of things. It feels like we are getting this energy of feeling like we can accomplish the impossible. And it's like bringing the things for our long-time view or like our biggest desires into our current reality. And you pair this up with that like luxurious, pleasurable, sensual Taurus, I feel like it's a recipe for a beautiful time period. Now, I'm pretty sure we have Jupiter moving into the sign of Aries during the month of May. Again, I will make sure that I have that information here for you, but Jupiter will be moving on into the sign of Aries at some point, but this energy is just really beautiful to work with while we have it running through Taurus. Now, another thing I want to bring up is we do still, and we have for the last several years, have Taurus, or Uranus rather, going through the sign of Taurus. And this can bring a little bit of chaos with it. I won't lie to you about that. I feel like Tauruses, we have really been like, this is something that I don't feel like enough people are talking about, is Taurus really has been experiencing some nonsense because Taurus doesn't like chaos. Taurus, if you have Taurus in your sun, moon, especially your rising, Taurus really does not like chaos. We don't like feeling ungrounded, unstable, no matter what it looks like. So for us, this can really like shake us all up, right? But we all have Taurus in our chart somewhere, and so it will be affected somewhere. But I just wanted to bring that up, that, you know, Uranus is kind of our chaotic planet. It has been moving through the sign of Taurus. Now, it is more of an outer planet, so we don't see it as much of an effect in our everyday. It moves so slowly that it's like little and smaller things, but in any case, it's a lot of hot nonsense. And Taurus, we're focusing a lot on the generalized for a moment because we also have eclipse season knocking on our door. Knock, knock, bitch, we're here. Get in, Luza, we're going shopping, except we're not going shopping, we're going healing. Taurus and Scorpio, we have to talk about this because during Taurus season, it's eclipse season, and eclipses come through to really eradicate things in our life or heal things in our life, depending on where those placements are. Now, I'm always going to encourage you, if you have not done so already, to understand what this means for you over the next several months, over the next year plus. Please go and watch my video. I made a video on the North and South Node moving into Taurus and Scorpio. It's already out. It's been out since earlier this year. If you haven't seen that video, go and check it out after you watch this one, and you're going to get a much better idea of what is really being removed and shifted and changed in your life over the next year. So eclipse season is finally upon us. We have a partial solar eclipse in Taurus happening on April 30th. This is kind of that first little taste of what we're going to see next year during Taurus season again, when we have that full solar eclipse. But right now it is a partial, but it is still coming to change us in some way. So especially those of you that have major Taurus placements, you can expect some changes coming for you. Again, check out that video if you want to know more specifics for yourself. And then during the middle of the month, I want to say it's around the 15th of May, we have a full lunar eclipse in Scorpio. And Scorpio is our great transformer. Scorpio literally is the sign of transformation. It is the sign of like death and transformation. So I'm not trying to say that anybody's going to be dying. That would be dramatic. No. What I am saying is wherever Scorpio is in your chart, again, please look to that video. We are going to be experiencing those themes this month when that full moon comes up on the 15th. So this video is kind of like a two-parter because we're going to be talking about your rising and what's going to be transpiring, but I also would really encourage you watch that video because it's going to give you a more detailed scope of the major themes for you, also based off of your rising, what you're going to be experiencing. So just know that we're in eclipse season, so buckle up, hold on, and we're gonna hopefully not see some shit, you know. I'm hoping for everybody it's gonna be a really like major healing time of change that is necessary for us. So now that all of that is out of the way, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about your rising signs. We are first going to start at the top with Taurus because it is your birthday. If you're watching for your sun sign, of course, like I said, it still applies, but we are going to be focusing mainly on Taurus rising. So if you're a Taurus rising at this time period, you're probably experiencing quite a bit. First and foremost, literally all eyes on you. You are going through your first house transit, and usually this is a really fun experience. All eyes are on you. The sun is shining on you. However, we do have that partial solar eclipse coming into view as well. So your entire identity might feel a little shaken up at this time. And it's because anything that does not serve you or your like personhood is being stripped away. And it's necessary change. And we know, Taurus, we know you don't like change. Trust me, I know, I'm a Taurus sun. We do not like change. But the more you allow yourself to be open to surrender, be open to change during this transit, the easier and easier it's going to become, especially the earlier you start, the better, because as our planets shift and change in the next month or so, as we get later in the month, it's going to be harder and harder and harder to make and see those changes and feel good about them. You're going to be going really a lot more against the grain rather with it. So just allow yourself this time to surrender, Taurus. And as for cards for you, we do have the underworld. How did I know this was going to come out for you? We have the underworld and we have the Princess of Cups. So the underworld, this card really comes to remind me that the underworld literally is like brushing with death. Now, again, I'm never going to tell you, oh my gosh, you're going to almost die. It's not that. Please think of this more metaphorically. It is brushing with the underworld so that you are able to understand how the complexity of your living life is and how much it matters and the changes that you need to make. So the thing is, you have to be careful, Taurus, not to romanticize this, because the Princess of Cups is definitely seeing life through rose-colored glasses, and that underworld comes through as a very rude awakening, Taurus. It comes through as a very rude awakening for you to eradicate and make change. And I'm not saying that you can't live in this very like beautified, mystified version of life. There's nothing wrong with that. However, sometimes we do have to blend the practical with the spiritual, with the mystical. And this to me is very much that energy. The underworld is really asking yourself, where do I need to make change in my life? How can I allow change to come through? And this isn't like small change. This isn't like, oh, I'm going to decide that my morning routine is going to go this way. This is like, where if I did the same habits every single day that I'm doing right now, where am I going to be in 5 years? What does that look like? And if it doesn't look good, Taurus, you got to change it. And I hate to be that person. But I'm not Willy Wonka. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for any of us. Like I said, I'm a Taurus sun, so I'm in this too. Like, sorry about that. Camera cut me off. Had to replace the battery. But Taurus, basically what I'm trying to say to you is, anything that you've been sleeping on with yourself, you can't do it anymore. It's literally going to be made physically impossible for you to sleep on yourself, to sleep on your habits. And again, I know that this is energy that Taurus really doesn't like, and I would know, but it's time for change. And I do feel like there is some gentleness coming with it with the Princess of Cups, but just don't let yourself get stuck here. Allow yourself to move forward. Allow yourself to strip and let go. My Gemini risings. If you are a Gemini rising, you will be going through your 12th house at this time. And the 12th house is a time period where we often feel a little bit more closed off. It's definitely a time for deep integrated healing, and it's time for you to really take stock of the next 12 months of your life and what you want them to look like, as well as resting from the previous 12 months. Because this is basically right before you rebirth during Gemini season, and it's going to be like your time to shine. But during this time period, it's definitely a time for you to go inward, to decide what you want for your future. It's a great time to do a life audit if that's something that you're interested in. I know one of my friends does something called an Ikigai, which I've looked at those before. I've never done one myself, but similar vibes to a life audit where you basically just look at the different areas of your life and take stock of every area and see what you can do to shift, change, and transform. And this is your time to do that, Gemini. So this time period, though, it can feel like you want to be a little bit more closed up. I would encourage that if you cannot be alone 24/7, definitely surround yourself with individuals that are very healing for you to be around. Spend more time in nature if it's possible, or more time in like blanket forts, watching cozy movies. Do what you need to do to make yourself feel really held and nurtured, and surround yourself with people that mirror that back to you, because that is really what you're going to need coming up. And we also have for you the Queen of Swords and the Fate card. So I feel like for your month, Gemini, this is really about setting really strong and firm boundaries, being like a master boundary setter, telling people what you need and not being apologetic about it. And the Fate card coming out again, this is about you not only putting trust in the like universe, trust in your own faith, and letting things unravel the way that they are meant to, or be woven the way that they are meant to. And this doesn't mean that you don't have anything to say when it comes to your own fate. You obviously are part of that, but this is a time period where you really need to let go and allow fate to just decide. Cancer, my beautiful Cancers. This month, you are going to be going through your 11th house transit, which is the house of friendship, hopes, wishes, and dreams. And this is a time period where you may find that you meet really inspiring connections for yourself. This is like, to me, this is a time period where you can meet friends that like last a lifetime if you're looking for that. This is also a time period where your like wildest hopes, dreams, and wishes can come true. The only thing I will say about the 11th house that can be alarming sometimes is this is also a time period where like public enemies can potentially surface. If there's anybody that like opposes you, if you're in the online sphere, just make sure that you're really safeguarding and keeping yourself well taken care of. And, don't pay other people no mind. Just keep doing what you got to do. But I do feel like this is a really blessed and beautiful time for you. Like when the new moon comes around on April 30th, definitely make sure that you make a wish to that moon and really set some intention for what you're wanting to come true in your life. You also have the Four of Pentacles and the Boundaries card. So this is really interesting to me because the Four of Pentacles to me is a very like boundary inducing card where we are like holding everything really close to the cuff. And I think that's actually a good practice during a public enemies transit where potentially you could have people like coming for you online. I'm not trying to say that that's what is going to happen. I'm just saying that it's a time period where things like that are more likely in your life. But the Four of Pentacles is saying like, definitely like know that you have earned your place in where you are. And if anything comes to test you, your boundaries are like finite. You are able to keep yourself safe and secure in what you've built. And like I said, if anything should come up for you, this is really just to like test those to show you how strong that you are. Now, this is also a reminder that if you don't have strong boundaries around yourself, this is a time period where you're going to need to be paying attention to that and setting some. My Leo risings. Ooh, BBs. I just looked at your cards and I am, so I mean, I'm a Taurus, so the things that get me feeling spicy are very different than like what would get Scorpio feeling spicy. But Leo risings, you are going to be going through your career house this month. So everything to do with your career, this can be promotions, changes in your career. Usually it's a very blessed chapter for your career. Now, because we have that eclipse sitting in this area for you right now, this could bring about really big career changes that happen very suddenly. Maybe you're like moving up in some way that you didn't expect. You're getting a promotion in some way. You're changing careers when you didn't initially intend to. But the first thing I want to point out to you, Leo rising, is you're getting money. Bad bitches are getting money, okay? Because we have the 10 of Pentacles, and that is not a little money, that's a lot of money. So if you were concerned about your finances, don't be Leo risings. You have got it in the bag, a big old bag. And then we also have the card of destruction. And I don't think that this comes to literally be like a straight up disruptor in your life, like, oh no, everything's falling apart. It's more of what needs to be destroyed, let it be destroyed. And I think we're getting a lot of that energy this month, to be honest, just because of the eclipse season. There usually destruction comes with eclipses, and it is so we can rebuild something different and something brand new. So if destruction comes in your life, whether it be over your career, what you're doing in life, because I do feel like the 10th, the 6th, and the 2nd house, they're all like earth sign houses. They all do deal with our daily routines in some way. So it could also just be like the destruction of what you've been doing on the day today and changing that. But ultimately, your career is the thing that's being highlighted the most. If you do not have a career or you don't consider yourself a career person, this could also just go into like your home life and your day-to-day life. What you're putting a lot of your energy into is what is getting a change. My Virgo risings, you are going through your 9th house transit at this time. And the 9th house deals with our faith, our higher learning, higher education. Honestly, it's where we go to expand. So where we want to like learn about new things, study new topics, and grow our hobbies, grow our ideas. And for you, you have self-love and the Princess of Swords. So I feel like for you, not only are you getting this like, hey, you need to love on yourself a little bit more, and it's okay to want to expand with yourself. You don't need to feel guilty about that. I know some people will have you feeling guilty for growing beyond them. And it's not that you're better than anybody else. It's that this is your opportunity to be expanding. And sometimes the relationships that were holding us can't really expand with us. And it's okay. It's all right to let go. It's all right to, again, boundaries. I feel like everybody has been getting something about boundaries today. Princess of Swords tells me that you also are going to be very mentally stimulated this month, and you need to follow that. If you feel like you really want to expand on something mentally, follow that thread all the way down and see where it takes you. What new knowledge can you come across? And definitely like write ideas down, because you're going to be getting a lot of downloads. And love up on yourself. You know, I feel like during Taurus season, this is where you should indulge. If you want to buy that course, buy that course. If you want to put energy into your own wisdom, into your own well-being, you know, buy the self-help books if that's what you're into. Invest in yourself long-term is really, and your mental stimulation this month. But ultimately, I do think that what will be changing for you is the 9th house deals a lot with like higher consciousness. So upgrading your own consciousness and your own like mental configuration, Virgo, which for you, you're no stranger to that. Virgos are all analytical. If you are a Libra rising, you will be going through your 8th house. I always call this like the dirty, sexy money house, because it's the house of Scorpio, and Scorpio deals in that energy, that like not dirty in a bad way, but it's like, it's that like very transformative energy, of course, but it deals with the like mystical occultism. It's definitely like the hidden knowledge of the world. And for you going through this, when we also have the Scorpio full moon lunar eclipse on May 15th, I would definitely say that like spiritually stuff is changing for you. And you have the King of Swords as well as the Sage. This is a reminder Libra risings, that not everything needs your opinion. And I know that that can be tough to hear because y'all Libra risings, you always have something to say. And I love that about y'all. Really, I do. I love that about y'all. But sometimes your wisdom is best put somewhere else. And the sage is here to remind you that you are smart enough to know when your input is needed and when it is not needed, because not everybody is going to accept the information that you're giving. And with the King of Swords coming out here, this is about being really good at recognizing that. So just, don't be starting fires with people. We don't need to do that, especially during eclipse season when everybody's already a little bit rowdy. Know where your energy is needed and be kind to yourself and step back when it is not welcome. And know that like your energy is not for everyone this month, and that's okay. Scorpio risings, you are going through your 7th house at this time. And this is all about your partnerships, contracts, anything that is like contractually binding. So this is going to be like new houses, new cars. It can deal with the legal system, though I do not give legal advice. So just be aware of that. I am not a lawyer. I don't give legal advice. But sometimes it can bring up the justice system if you have any like things to be repaid or dealt with. But Scorpio risings, this can also be a really big time for your relationships, especially your romantic relationships, where things can come up with them, especially during eclipse season. This to me is the energy of if your relationship is not built on mutual love, trust, and respect, this can be like the relationship ender energy. This can be breaking up energy. Now, obviously, if your relationship is secure, y'all understand each other, you're in a good place, you don't really need to worry about that. But just as a little reminder, it can bring that on. If you are not ready to release a relationship, especially those karmic connections, you can expect this to come through and wipe it right out. Now we do have for you Scorpio risings, we have death and shadow. I don't think this is going to scare you because you're a Scorpio rising. You're not scared of anything. I'm only spitting facts here, okay? Scorpio mains, y'all are scared of nothing. It's like you're used to it at this point. But the death card, this literally is Scorpio's card. So the death card, this is all about deep transformation, which I was already talking about. And you have the shadow card, which this says it's time to do more shadow work. I know, everybody's favorite. Can Scorpios ever catch a break? I swear. Y'all only deal in shadow work, I swear. But this is about doing that deep integrative shadow work, getting really in touch with the parts of you that maybe have been abandoned or you've not even realized were missing from you because they're just like so far down the well. You got to go down there and pick them up, right? Shadow work, I would always encourage, I don't have any podcasts or videos on shadow work at this time to tell you where to look for it, but just a little like real-time shadow work on YouTube and see what you come up with if you've never heard about that before. It's work that is some of the most beneficial that I believe we will come here as humans to do. And for you, it's going to deeply transform you at like a soul level. And because we are going through an eclipse that is in your natal sign, this is going to be really important for you. All Scorpio placements, even if you're watching for your sun or moon here, this is still very much going to apply to you. So that's what I got for you, Scorpio. Good luck. Then for my Sagittarius risings, hey babies, what's up squad? This is me and you. But we have for you, Sagittarius risings, you are going to be going through your 6th house. Now, the 6th house is all about our daily routines. It is about our health and it is about our service to others. This is the house of Virgo that we're dealing with during this eclipse season. And it basically, to me, is the healing axis. We've talked about this again in that eclipse video, but it is the healing axis where we are dealing with those daily routines, our self-care, our analytical mind. And then during that lunar eclipse, we're dealing with our mental health. We're dealing with basically that really deep, it's not necessarily, well, it can be deep transformative work. We deal with this like Virgo Pisces energy that we have going on. And Pisces energy can deal with our mental health. It can, and I'm not a mental health professional, just gonna disclaim that right there. I love psychology. I hold a lot of knowledge, but I'm not a professional in that regard. So please, please, please make sure that if that is something you are needing, you seek that out. But when it comes to that full moon coming up on the 15th, I do feel like this is going to be us closing chapters on things that have really, like, it's a new beginning in the way that we have been feeling through our own well-being mentally, as well as how we deal with just, it's closure. To me, it's closure at a high point. If there's something in your life that you've really needed closure on, this is where that closure is finally coming. And I think it's been long indebted to us, to be honest. I think us Sagittarius risings, like, we haven't been talking about enough how much we have been going through it in general. And I think we're finally getting like sweet relief in the month of May. But we do have take risk and the 7 of Wands. So take risk. This to me says that if there's any kind of risk that you're thinking about taking in any area of your life, on friendships, on your career, on travel, take the risk. I know at this time that can be very scary, risky moves during an eclipse season. Oh my goodness. But Spirit is saying that your risks are being supported right now. And with the 7 of Wands, did y'all know that you're becoming unstoppable? Did y'all know that you're becoming bulletproof? Like, the 7 of Wands is literally like people trying to naysay some shit at you, and you're just like, yeah, but I don't care. Like, yeah, but I don't care. Like, you can take your opinion and you can take it somewhere else. This is literally the energy of you just don't care. Like, you're taking risks. You're making a name for yourself. You are doing new fun things. Maybe things that you haven't done for a very long time. You're like, y'all are really getting like some good, nice closure. And if anybody's got anything to say about it, you don't have to pay them any mind. I really feel like this is more the energy of not caring with whatever gets hurled at you. If anybody tells you not to take a risk or not to go and do, like, first of all, you're a Sagittarius rising. So any person that tells you not to take a risk, you're not going to listen to them anyways. I would know. I'm a Sagittarius rising. Do you know how many people told me not to leave my career in gaming when I was in it? Do you know how many people told me, like, not to change my usernames the bunch of times that I have, and how like taking those risks have changed my life? So I know those are specific to me as a Sagittarius rising, but like, take the leap of faith. You are worth it. And you are a Sagittarius rising. Like, you are that jovial, beautiful energy. Optimism is who you are. So don't let people come for you. You get out there and you be your biggest, brightest, optimistic self. You fucking deserve it. That is a pep talk for future me as well, when I come back and look at this video for myself. So that's what I got, Sagittarius risings. Get out there. Up next, we have Capricorn risings. Ooh, you're going through your 5th house transit. And I need to tell you, baby, it's going to be a beautiful time. I'm talking directly to my spouse at this time. He's a Capricorn rising. We stan. But you have the Sun card coming out for you, as well as surrender. So this is about surrendering to the good times. It might feel really scary, Capricorn. Listen, Capricorns, you have, like, I know I'm like, oh, Taurus has been going through it. Oh, Sagittarius placements have been going through it. Like, yeah, sure. Capricorns, you take the cake on who has been going through it. For the last, like, several years, y'all have been like on your knees praying for relief, because you have had so many planets chilling in your sign. Remember last December when we had like the great Capricorn stellium going on? Y'all have been experiencing some shit in your life, and this will never happen again in your lifetime. Not this, but all of the stuff you've been going through, you will not experience that again in your lifetime. That great Capricorn stellium, it should not happen to you again. And you've really been going through it, having to make a lot of changes for your life. And this is where the relief is finally coming. We have Jupiter will be moving into Aries at some point coming soon as well, which it's moving into a cardinal sign, which is always going to be beneficial to you. But the Sun, this is like surrendering to having fun. I know, Capricorn, you have a hard time letting yourself have fun. I know, trust me. I'm married to a double Capricorn stellium. Like, y'all have a hard time letting yourselves have fun. It's all work. It's never play. Play. Please play. Go on that vacation, let yourself indulge in luxury and pleasure, have a good fucking time, because you deserve it. You deserve this time period. And stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. It's not dropping. There's no other shoe. You've been through it. We're done. We're done. Surrender. Let yourself have fun. This is your moment. This is your time to really experience joy. You're going through your 5th house transit during this time. That is literally the house of childlike play and joy. Take this moment. Let this moment be yours. Do what you want to do. Have a good time. Experience life to the fullest right now. All right, Aquarius risings. For you, we have you're going through your 4th house, which this is the house of the home, family, hearth and home, basically hearth, home, and family. This can bring up sometimes things about your roots, like deep-seated childhood stuff that maybe we don't always want to deal with, but it also is a time to feel really nurtured in your home space. There might be some renovations in your home coming up, or this could be a time period where you want to manifest a new home, or you're like moving, something's changing in your home life. And for you, we have the 3 of Cups and compassion. So this is a time period where you also might be spending time around siblings or people that just feel like family for you. And compassion, this is all about being surrounded by love and compassion, being surrounded by people that really fill up your cup, because the 3 of Cups is all about that, having like deep, beautiful, intimate connections with people. And I feel like this is very sibling energy to me, but it doesn't have to be. If you're an only child, this can also just be friends. Even if they're just like virtual friends, like those are still friends. I know the world wants to tell us that it's not, but honey, we have Saturn going through the sign of Aquarius. Virtual is what we got right now. Those are still like your friends, like family. Plan a virtual get together, do things with family at this time, and really let yourself be held in a compassionate embrace, because that is the energy that is building for you, is just being really supported right now and being held and letting yourself experience the best home life possible. And if you don't feel like your home life is something to be celebrated, Aquarius, this can be a time where you will manifest your home life changing, whether it is like the people or the place in particular. My Pisces risings, going through your 3rd house, which is the house of communication. I know I talked to Aquarius just now about siblings a little bit because they're dealing with their house of the home, but the 3rd house literally is siblings as well as communication, and sometimes short-term travel as well. But for you, you have Get Curious and the 10 of Wands. So first and foremost, I need to tell y'all, when it comes to the 10 of Wands, you've been doing too much and you need to do a little bit less. The 10 of Wands is taking on too many tasks, doing the most, trying to prepare for things endlessly. And it is actually not good for you. You know, you're taking on too much of a load, and it's time to actually let some of that go. Maybe delegate if you have the ability to delegate tasks right now. Or try to reevaluate and put things on the back burner that can be put on the back burner, because you're starting to overwhelm yourself. And Pisces, you are like a sweet little precious baby. Like, I say that with love. We don't like the overwhelm for you, okay? We don't like the overwhelm, especially during an eclipse season. And we also have Get Curious for you. Gemini, that's like the house you're going through, is the 3rd house, which is the house of Gemini. Gemini is an insanely curious sign. That is like their whole thing. So let yourself be curious. Let yourself open yourself up to new realms, to new realities, to new thought processes, to new hobbies, to anything that really like sets spark in your heart. This is the time to follow that, to be very curious about that. And, you know, I wouldn't say that this is like work and play. This is just, we're dealing with a little bit of overwhelm, and the way that you're going to get through the overwhelm is being a little bit more curious. And this also to me deals with people. If you're dealing with people that are particularly challenging for you right now, Spirit is saying that you need to be a little bit more curious about why they are the way that they are. I feel like in today's world, yes, of course, there's always going to be situations that they were just bad. They just sucked. It was just awful. This person's just not good for us. However, most things we can meet with compassion and love. Like, let me give you an example. So to give you an example of what I'm trying to explain, this is the energy of like getting road rage when somebody cuts you off. Something like, I'm not trying to just toot my own horn, I'm just trying to explain. I don't get road rage. I don't get road rage because I remind myself that everybody is living in their own version of their own reality. And maybe that person that just cut me off, maybe they just got a call that their mom is about to die. Like maybe their wife or their husband or whatever, like maybe somebody in their family is in labor. Maybe they need to get somewhere faster. And it is an honor that I'm not in their stressful situation. I'm not in their dysregulated nervous system right now. It allows me to have an open vibration of compassion towards other people. So I'm just not as quick to anger because I never know what other people are doing or thinking or what their life has been like. And I feel like that's kind of this energy is try to get curious about people this month. If somebody is ticking you off or overwhelming you, try to let yourself be curious and also be curious about yourself. Why do you feel a certain way? Why do you react a certain way? And try to get to the bottom of that. It's big energy for this month. And lastly, my Aries, my beautiful Aries, you are going through your second house of personal finance. You have what is considered a perfect chart because Aries risings move through the zodiac the way that it moves, if that makes sense. Like I've talked about this before, but basically like in Aries season, Aries is the ruler of the first house. You're in your first house. During Taurus season, because you start at the first, you move into your second house. Taurus is the natural ruler of the second house. You have what is considered a perfect chart. So how does it feel to be God's favorite? But for you, during your second house transits in this eclipse season right now, you are going to be dealing with your finances. So where you feel like your finances have not worked, this can be the energy of them starting to work together. This can also be the energy of doing and having major changes to your financial well-being that make things in the future better for you. We also have for you the Seven of Cups and get creative. So what this says to me, Aries, is that there are going to be a multitude of different pathways that you can take this month. And it's not your job to fret about them. It's not your job to try to pick the best one or the right one. It is your job to decide and just to go for it and to get creative on the way. You know, don't let your creativity be stamped out this month, no matter what that looks like. Creativity is going to be coming to an abundance for you, especially as I want to say it's this month that Jupiter, like the month of May, Jupiter is going to be moving into Aries. I'm pretty sure that that is correct. I probably already corrected it in the beginning of the video if that was true, but like having Jupiter in Aries for you, this can be a really beautiful, expansive time for your own personal identity, your own self-image, expanding yourself in new and beautiful ways and having new doors open for you, new opportunities open for you. But don't lose sight of your creativity along the way, because even if you're not a natural born artist, every human on the face of this planet has a desire to create in some way. And you are no exception to that rule, Aries. So definitely take this energy in, this good ass energy. And thank you so much for tuning in. I feel like you're the only person that's going to get to see the end of this video because everybody else has probably already left. But thank you so much for tuning in. Please do not forget, when you stand in your own authenticity, you empower everyone around you to do the same. Don't forget to check out all my fun little links down below. Of course, we have the podcast, the Patreon, booking personal readings with me, and everything else, the decks that I use, everything down below for you. And I love you so much. I'll talk to you again next time. Bye, pumpkin. Gotta get some thumbnail shots. Or, you know, a blooper reel, it's fine. Should I like hold some cards out here maybe? Like we could do a little